Hello Leo, welcome to your weekly reading with me, Cindy. And Happy New Year, Leo, my sweet pussycats. Our first reading together in 2021. And we're going to be doing a void of course moon reading. And you'll notice that I'm in a different place than I typically am. All sorts of information that I could provide to you why we're doing this type of a reading, why I'm in a different spot than I usually am. There's a video that came out the middle of last week. And the link to that will be near the top of the description of this video. So you can go and watch that and find out all that information. Yeah, so we're going to do this, my sweet pussycats. We're going to do a reading for you. So this void of course moon, as the moon goes through all 12 zodiac signs in that month period, as it's leaving one zodiac and going into the other, there's often periods of time where it's not influenced by any zodiac. It's sort of the in-between, right? It's no longer in the past, but it's not quite into the future. Sometimes this void of course can be a very short period of time. It can be just an hour or two. Or if it's a true void of course moon, it's a full 24-hour period. And it happens all the time. So this is not a completely unusual thing, but it is something that I just learned about a few days ago. And if you go to that other video, you'll know why. There is an extended at the end of this. The link is at the top of the description. In the extended, I continue to pull cards out in what is going to be the cycle that you're entering. So if the void of course is the in-between, we're going to look at in this reading the cycle that you were exiting and then the cycle that you were entering. And the whole point of the void of course is that there's no outside influence. So it's really a great time for you to make choices about what you want, how you want to conduct your life, where you want to direct it, whatever that is. So there's too many cards. So yeah, that's what this middle portion is, and I will continue to go into the future for you as best as I can in the extended. So pussycats, what do we have here? I'm hearing 2021 is a year for Leo. Let's hope so. And you guys have been going through a lot. You've been really developing. And look at here. Oh, wow. Ooh. Ooh. This is nice. You were doing... Who else was doing the void of course in such a perfect way? And that's kind of what you're doing. Uh-oh. 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 Something's got Lily upset. Yeah, so because I'm in the general space of the house, there might be interruptions. Lily, no, honey. No matter what I say, really. Wow. I am using 3 different oracle decks and a tarot deck to develop this spread. For you, Leo. Ah, I see. Now I see. One more deck. You're so patient. Oh, sorry. I have a new window to look out. So now I see a different set of houses where I'm at the back of the house. 2 men were carrying something very big and heavy into someone's backyard. I don't know what it was. Wow, you were coming into your own. I knew it. This was going to be your year, and you were coming into it. All right, so I'll show you quickly the cards that you have. In the cycle that you're leaving, you have Dove Spirit, Be Peace. You have new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. This is a really interesting combination. And then you have attachment and the Eight of Swords. I actually want to hold it like this. Like that. Your past cycle? Now you could be still in this cycle. Maybe you're just kind of starting to come out of it as you approach the void of course moon. As you approach kind of an in-between period. Closing off this past energy before you go into the future full on here. You've been working hard towards something. It feels to me very much like working on sort of your own spiritual, emotional, mental balance with peace. Really feels like trying to find peace, and perhaps in a situation that was difficult. Because with the Eight of Swords and this attachment, it feels like that there's either something that you've been not comfortable exposing, or it didn't feel right, or you have felt trapped by circumstances that have kind of built up around you over time. And because it's built up around you over time with this attachment card, and sort of she's removing this mask, it's sort of like when labels have been placed on us over time, where we've identified ourselves as a certain way or as a certain type of person over time, and maybe fitting into something that seemed appropriate when we started doing that. Could have been a job, it could have been a relationship, lots of different things. But you've changed and you've evolved over time, and recognizing that there's a certain way of identifying yourself that doesn't suit you anymore. Or it's really not who you were. Who you are is your deeper self, or where you're going in this lifetime. Now, your hard work is paying off. I do feel, because this is Capricorn, to me it's this very like three-dimensional, tangible stuff, right? So not only have you been working on like internal healing and balance, but I do feel like working on things outside of you, like either with work or with home. But you're closing this off and you're going into like, your void of course moon is really appropriate here, because the card that you got is meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. That's so appropriate, because in the void of course, it's a time period where there won't be much influence around you except your own. So what do you want to do at that time? What would you like to give to yourself? And then you have see the big picture that comes in right after meditate and contemplate. It's almost as if when you come out of this cycle and you remove any barriers that either you've placed in front of you or you've allowed to be placed in front of you, you give yourself the freedom and the time and the space to just almost this be peace that you've been working on. You hit it, you enter it. But then you're looking, so it's almost like you see something, you see the big picture. This meditation and contemplation, if you're not a meditator, I think we all have an element of it. Like some people are not one to just sit and have a space and meditate. Some sort of spiritual practice for you. Something that, like my mom, I mean, she won't sit and meditate, but cleaning the house is like one of the things that she says, like her mind is allowed to just kind of go. So something that you would do that just allows your mind to kind of go. Maybe it's a creative outlet. But I feel a little bit more like it's almost just tuning things out to allow yourself to be heard again. And when you do that, you're going to see something that you didn't see before, or you're going to see it in a new light, and it's going to make you want to take action. Then you have the storm warning and the Ace of Wands. I wasn't sure about this storm warning. I thought, oh, is this like more chaos or confusion coming forward? Is it something disruptive? In Leo's void of course, I don't think so. I think it's something internal that stirs within you, and the passion, like you feel very passionate, very creative about this, really wanting to go forward with like Leo mojo, Leo leadership. So the reason why this storm card, I want to show you, as you go into this future energy, this future cycle, you got the journey card of the same deck that came from the, so I feel like you're getting ready to take action, and you're going to take it in a really profound way. Then, so in the future cycle, you have you and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer. And then you have elephant spirit, learn from the past. Elephants never forget, right? They have just profound memories. And they live very long lives to actually be able to utilize all of that information. It's almost like taking information and applying it in an intelligent way to move forward and not make mistakes from the past. Learning from the past and moving beyond that. You and your loved ones are safe. That's funny you should get that, because someone else got that card in the same spot. And it was yesterday. And I can't... It might have been Cancer? Which is funny, because it is new moon in Cancer here. And I clarified it for them, and it was almost to say that if there was a child or someone that you were a caregiver of, that you and them are okay, so don't worry. But I will clarify that for you, because it's probably a personal message. Now, Journey and the Emperor. You are really taking control of your life. I feel kind of two messages. Either you're journeying towards something that's Emperor-like. Maybe you're actually moving towards a position of some sort of authority. And for some of you, it feels a little bit even like a promotion on some level. Others of you, with this Aries spirit and journey, it's almost like the Fool and Aries energy. So you're getting ready to take a leap of faith. You're getting ready to just initiate action and initiate something in your life. And you're doing it in a way that you're kind of guaranteeing yourself not to make the mistakes from the past, because you've learned from them and you're applying them as you move forward. So, Leo, interesting energy, isn't it? It's an interesting story when we play it out like this with these particular cards. So, the first thing I'm going to clarify for you is you and your loved ones are safe. I think that's really a beautiful message to get, like kind of in this day and time as well, with so much chaos and unpredictability around us. You and your loved ones are safe for Leo. Eight of Swords. Because that was over there. Something interesting. Eight of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and the Empress. Wow, the Empress and the Emperor sitting here. Your journey, you're going towards something. Let's see who this Emperor, or what this Emperor is. Because in the past it was feeling trapped here and you couldn't move. And the Five of Pentacles almost being able to move again, but feeling a little bit shut out. Like not really feeling included. But it's almost like the first step out of seclusion. The first step of not being included is coming out of this Eight of Swords and really kind of seeing what's around. But you're moving. You're jumping right from the Five of Pentacles to the Empress. And as I say that, it's interesting because the Ten of Cups is on the bottom. This Emperor, what is this Emperor energy for Leo? Wow. 1 second. Okay. I think this is something like that you really have strong feelings for. You really see something long-term here. With the Emperor and the Empress, this is like a perfect balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energy, yin and yang. And you're making a journey. You plan to make a journey. You plan to kind of come out of entrapment, feeling secluded, excluded, and really coming into your power and moving towards a counterpart energy that brings you really good balance. That you move forward with your heart chakra open. Like you move forward feeling like the possibilities are there. Feeling like you want to explore in a really happy and an emotional level here. And with the Hierophant, this is, there's a lot of commitment and higher level attainment in this connection. You are safe. I really feel like this message, for the most part, it does say you and your loved ones are safe. I'm really feeling like, though, what I'm asking is particularly for you. So I don't know if you're in a situation or you're somewhere where you're really not sure about how your circumstances are going to play out. Or, gosh, you know, with everything that's going on in the world right now, if you're in an area where pandemic numbers are really high or anything. I feel like you're getting some sort of reassurance here that you are okay. You're okay, and you're going to come out of this like really wonderful, wonderful energy. What are the lessons that you've learned from the past? I'm going to ask that because there's probably something in particular that's important for you moving forward to keep in the back of your mind as you're going along your new journey. Lessons from the past. The Hanged Man. How you saw things and how you perceived things outside of you. Lessons from the past. How you saw and perceived offers and balance. How offers were given to you. How you gave offered to others. And what balance existed in that or did not exist in that. It's also about understanding, I feel like understanding what really sits behind. You know, over time, if you've experienced some sort of interaction with someone, and then you have an impression about what that interaction was, or the deeper meaning in it, but as time goes on, you kind of evolve through the situation and you learn a little bit more about it. So that's what this feels like to me. And it enables you to be able to come from a space of equality. This is a very equal energy here that you were coming towards with the Emperor and the Empress. So your storm warning. Your storm warning. Storm warning for Leo? The Four of Swords. But it feels like you're going to be jumping out of that, right? Into the Ace of Wands. So this is the shift for you. If you've been in the time of healing, which you will be in the void of course moon, because you meditate and contemplate, see the big picture. So what I'm getting here is that things will move quickly on some level for you somehow. What feels like it's going to move quick is coming out of meditating and contemplating, having a time of peace. So your void of course moon may not be like a very long extended period of time. And that's been kind of shifty throughout all the readings that I've done this week, right? What did I say? Like a void of course moon can just be a couple of hours, or it can be a full-on 24-hour period. And, you know, it's kind of being perceived that way too in doing the reading. So yours feels to me a little bit more like a shorter period of time. If not a shorter period of time, there is a very quick transition from being in a very meditative, contemplative, healing state and moving forward. And moving forward with quite a bit of mojo with your Ace of Wands here. Your hard work is paying off. I want to just clarify that, because this is almost like some encouragement for you. Like if you're not seeing the fruits of your labor yet, your hard work is paying off. Leo's hard work is paying off. Boy, whew. King of Wands and King of Swords. Va-va-voom. Like there's a lot of power in that. Leadership. Really strong intellectual leadership. Wow. If you've really been trying to be a leader in your own life, to try to lead others, to try to come from a very genuine and passionate position, to try to see clearly and to try to really own your I want to say perceived reality, because we all are really just perceiving things at any given time, to really come into truth with that for yourself on a very mature level. I mean, this is not like knights. This isn't. So you're coming over here as the Knight of Cups, so it's almost like you're getting ready to kind of bring that up. But yeah, Emperor and Empress. The Emperor is the embodiment of all the kings, and the Empress is the embodiment of all the queens. So it's almost as if you've been working on different elements of yourself here. And I feel like though doing that in a very practical way, and somehow physically through your life experience, and how you react and adjust to what's going on around you. Let's just look. I'm going to do one more, because I think it seems like a pretty clear reading, no? I'm going to do one more to clarify. See the big picture, and then I'll yeah, I think I'll close it off, and I'll do the extended and see where the rest of this energy keeps going for you. So see the big picture. See the big picture for Leo. Temperance. See the big picture for Leo. Oh, I think you're going to have a really good understanding. Wow. Temperance and justice. This is going to be a very profound void of course. Moon for you. Really understanding actually how energy, it's almost like how energy plays out. Really understanding that, because you're closing off something from the past. But before you go into the future, it's as if you sit in this void of course and you have a very profound understanding about allowing energy to alchemize, allowing yourself to go through some sort of alchemy, to shift and metamorphose into this new energy. You know, and think about that. I mean, we always talk about like when you're having a rebirth, or you're having a big change in your life and you're going through a big cycle adjustment. It is like a metamorphosis, but if you think about that, like when you hatch out, the energy is different. If a caterpillar goes into a cocoon and stays in that state over winter, I mean, it went in with a perspective of everything being dead around it. I mean, all the leaves being off the trees, everything going into a hibernation, into a period of still, of no growth. Because that's really too what the void of course can feel like, because you're not struggling with the past anymore, but you're not growing into the future yet. So it is sort of, you know, going into your cocoon, going into your chrysalis. When you went in there, you had the perspective of the caterpillar, and you also had the perspective of the environment and the energy around you, based on the time of year. But everything changes around you as you sit in that meditative state, as you sit in that chrysalis and you transform. So when you come out over here, you are going to be different. You are going to see things differently. There's so much of that being taught, being spoken to you here, right? Yeah, so when you hatch out, it's almost like, well, now it's springtime. You are going to be looking at the world from a different set of eyes, because now you're the butterfly, or you're a large moth, whatever that is. But the environment is different. The energy has changed. Temperance has worked. Justice has come through. Justice has been coming out a lot lately this week. This justice card. Now, that was coming out too. Even, I remember at one point saying to Libra last year, you guys have been all over the place. You've been like all through the zodiac many times. It's really Temperance and the Justice card. Temperance all year last year, like, right? Like, just hold tight, just relax, just see where things go. And this Justice, so it does tell me that energy is being corrected. Circumstances are going to be different as we move forward, as you move forward. And it allows you to see the picture differently, to see it with a new perspective, to see it with the perspective you were meant to see it when you hatch out as the butterfly. That's a nice reading. Oh, what's at the bottom? I'm curious to look. The Nine of Swords. Why is that there? Let's put that away. The Nine of Swords. You're getting there. You're going to go into some sort of meditative, at least sort of mental time off for you. Because I don't see any energy like this. Maybe you're just kind of starting to come out of it with this Eight of Swords and going through the attachment process, detaching from labels and ways that you've looked at yourself in the past, to come into your chrysalis and hatch out. All right. Thank you, my sweet pussycats. I'm going to go do the extended and see where this energy continues to go. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.